Bienvenidos a la Cumbre Concordia Américas 2018. En 2017 realizamos en Bogotá la Cumbre Concordia, espacio en donde analizamos aspectos destacados del momento, la corrupción, los acuerdos de paz y el desarrollo sostenible del país.
Creemos fuertemente en Concordia que Latinoamérica merece mucha atención y es un momento crítico con lo que está sucediendo, la crisis humanitaria en Venezuela, las elecciones que están teniendo lugar en Colombia, Chile y México. Creemos fuertemente que una organización internacional y no partidista como Concordia debe priorizar a Latinoamérica como región en general. Y una cosa que es muy importante para nosotros en Concordia es que hablamos de Latinoamérica en el contexto del mundo.
La iniciativa Américas 2018 ha organizado hasta la fecha en Colombia el debate presidencial con la colaboración de FENALCO, el Instituto de Ciencia Política Hernán Echavarría Olózaga y el canal RCN. Un debate con la presencia de los 6 candidatos para las elecciones de primera vuelta que fue emitido por televisión en directo en los canales RCN y NTN 24. Hoy se reúnen destacados líderes políticos, empresarios, expertos académicos y representantes de organizaciones no gubernamentales para que la Cumbre Concordia Américas 2018 sirva como la primera plataforma global a través de la cual se analizarán los desafíos del gobierno entrante desde diferentes visiones.
Bueno, Colombia ha jugado un papel importante en el desarrollo de Concordia. Sostuvimos nuestra primera cumbre internacional acá, en el año 2017, y estamos extremadamente orgullosos de estar de regreso en Bogotá en julio de 2018 para alojar una cumbre tan importante en un momento tan importante para Colombia.
A continuación, los temas de las sesiones que abordaremos durante estos 2 días. Elecciones, democracia y ciudadanía en las Américas. Comercio, desarrollo económico y paz. Colombia en el cruce global. La crisis de narcóticos, del cultivo al tráfico. Seguridad ambiental y gestión de recursos naturales. Tecnología digital y privacidad de datos en las Américas. Cobertura sanitaria, calidad y sostenibilidad en toda América. Venezuela, una crisis local con impacto global. Innovación en la reducción de daños. Financiación innovadora para la paz. Concordia, FENALCO, el Instituto de Ciencia Política Hernán Echavarría Olózaga, RCN y NTN 24 les dan la bienvenida a la Cumbre Concordia Américas 2018.
Good morning to all of you. I would like to give you a very warm greeting today. This is the second day of this summit that we have organized along with Concordia, FENALCO, the Institute for Political Science Hernán Echavarría Olózaga, RCN in all of its different television and radio components that have allowed us to create in this opportunity in July a similar event to those carried out in September in the city of New York. You have already seen the quality of the very preeminent people that join us today, and you know that who will be coming as well today. So it is extremely pleasant for me to be opening this ceremony today, and I would like to first of all thank Corferias and the Chamber of Commerce for having allowed this event to be carried out in this venue. And this makes me extremely proud as the president of the board of directors and as a former president of the board of directors of Corferias. The idea of FENALCO has always been to defend the private sector and the the rules of free trade. And this is the reason why we're here. And that's why we have been working in the last years in this front in a much more acute way in the face of the challenges that have been taking place around the political processes that the country has been living through. We have been appreciating how the private sector has lost strength, vigor, and how its strength is not as big as it used to be in previous years. And we require to recover it so it can be a center for social development, so it can be the generator of wealth for Colombia. So it is the entrepreneurs who pay for taxes. It is those who generate employment. It is those who cover the most elemental needs. And for that reason, what we want is to have more businesses, to generate more business, to have more profit, to pay taxes, and as a consequence of this, there can be more amount of employment so we can have a world that is much more pleasant for all Colombians. Going around the country that I do frequently, I would get together with different businessmen and entrepreneurs, and they always saw different threats in terms of what was happening. And that is why we started 6 months ago a research about the specific issues and matters that are affecting the private sector. And we addressed them from three different standpoints. One, at an institutional level, two, the economy, and third, the social part. At the institutional level, we reached the conclusion that we required a state that was much smaller, that was much more efficient, if you will, but especially stable, where the investors feel that they have clear rules for the game. We took advantage of the studies that showed that between the year 2000 and the year 2016, there were more than 94,000 rules issued, which in one way or another affected the private sector. The Colombian Constitution, with scarce 26 years of existence, or 27 years of existence, has already overcome the 40,000 constitutional reforms. That is, there is an average of one for every 6 months, while we find countries where there are one in every 100 or 200 years. At an economic level, we found that we have to reduce macroeconomy to microeconomy to look for a way where companies, or what is the reason for why companies are not progressing, what is the reason that businessmen have, and what is the best way to solve this. And this way, we will be able to achieve less costs for transactions and thus increase productivity. At the social level, we respect social protest, but we also believe that this should be an orderly one, where that represents the interests of all Colombians and not just a single or small group. And we believe that on that, the next government will be able to make important advancements if they're able to promote a statutory law that goes in that direction. We need a lot of citizen preventive dialogue. We would be more than willing to have it with the different communities that can feel affected, and these should be duly heard. So this is how today we present everybody with this document that is completely available in terms of what we have defined as defending the private company, risks and threat for the market economy. This has a complete analysis of the different items from multidimensional aspect, regulatory aspects. So this is a very complete work. This document is in hard copy and it's completely available to all of you, but you can also find it on the FENALCO website. I highly recommend you to follow the peace process. This is analysis of the 2,200 pages that were written around this peace process. And from there, or that is why it's so important. This is a document that is extremely pleasant to read because basically you can just open it up in any page. And if you quickly skip one or two pages or go back one or two pages, you will find a topic that will be specific and punctual, that provides a lot of clarity about certain aspects that the country is going through. So I highly and especially recommend it. I'll finish up by saying that we want to thank Concordia, Matt, of course, the Political Science Institute, led by Dr. Gabriel Echevarria Obregon, who has always opened his doors, and of course, RCN, who has always been an unconditional partner. Without them, we would not have been able to carry out this event. First of all, the meetings to establish the questions for the candidates. Second of all, the great national debate we had, or that we had the opportunity to carry out and done through the RCN TV channel that was seen by millions of Colombians. And it would not have been possible to make this summit as well on Concordia. So thank you all very much.
Well, good morning, everyone. In name of the City Council of Bogota, it's a true honor, it's a privilege to welcome every one of you to our city. And I'm very proud for the second time to, to have this event of Concordia of the Americas. Concordia has truly become one of those very important global forums, and therefore, for our city of Bogota to have such outstanding politicians, entrepreneurs, business people, members of international organizations and NGOs, to have people from the academic world, it is a true joy and it fills us with great satisfaction. Without a doubt, in this forum, we'll be able to discuss the great challenges that Colombia faces as a member of the American community and the great challenges that lie ahead for the new government of Colombia within the framework of all the challenges that we have in the subject of environmental issues, and relations with Venezuela. Bogota welcomes you all. And today, in name of the 45 members of the City Council of Bogota and the 8.5 million Bogotans, we welcome you all. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage Nicholas Logothetis, co-founder and chairman of Concordia, and Matthew Swift, co-founder, chairman, and CEO of Concordia.
Everyone, and again, welcome to day 2 of our Concordia Americas Summit. Before we get to the president-elect, Matt and I just wanted to very briefly tell you a little bit more about Concordia. So Concordia was founded in 2011 by Matt and myself, and what we've become most well known for is our annual summit, which started with about 100 people in 2011, 50 of which were our friends and family. And it has grown to, last year, about 3,500 people, all in the month of the week of the UN General Assembly in New York. And so as we've transitioned from an organization best known for an annual summit to a more widely well-known organization based upon our work throughout the year in places like the Americas and Europe, we have built a membership model, which is we invite you all to look at it. It's what helps us pay our bills, and we think it's a sort of very important sort of situation that allows us to take sponsorship money, but also to engage with our community on a very sort of significant and in-depth level. One thing that we're very proud of is that at our annual summit, we seek to be the most inclusive and non-partisan event at the UNGA. We want people from all walks of life. We want heads of state, we want CEOs, but we also want aspiring entrepreneurs, we want students, we want people who have great ideas but don't usually get to attend events like this and don't usually get to interact with people like this. So this is something we're very, very closely focused on, and we will continue to be. Matt's going to talk a little bit about our Americas initiative. I just want to say that from my perspective, as sort of a non-executive role at Concordia, what Matt and his team have done here is simply incredible. And they are working, you know, sometimes 16, 17 hours a day with a team a fraction of what other organizations use to put on an event such as this. So they deserve a tremendous amount of credit from Matt on down to every single member of our staff.
Thank you very, very much, Nick. As Nick said, Nick and I co-founded this organization in 2011, and it's been an incredible journey over the last 8 years to not only be hosting, as Nick said, the largest summit during the UN, but also holding forums all around the world. You know, we started this organization together. We've been best friends since high school. No decision really is made unless the two of us are in sync. And so this is very, very much a partnership that I myself especially am very proud of, and so proud of this young team that produced all of this. So very, very proud of that. First, thank you to our Leadership Council members who are here today, Ambassador Negroponte, President Quiroga, President Chinchilla, Ambassador Dobriansky, Terry Ardley. Thank you so, so much for joining us today. General Petraeus, excuse me, thank you so much for being here today. Mr. Vice President, it is an honor to have you here in Colombia and at our Concordia America Summit. Thank you. This Americas Initiative is actually in its 3rd year. Nick and I decided in early 2016 that we wanted to prioritize Latin America. And I think most people in this room know an incredible woman named Maria Paula Correa, who until very recently was the #2 of this organization and has moved back to Colombia to work with the new administration and for President-elect Duque. But I want to give some very important credit to an amazing woman who really started this entire initiative. In 2016, we hosted a summit in Miami, at Miami-Dade College, where very proudly, we were one of the first international forums to raise awareness about the humanitarian crisis in Venezuela. We also talked about energy in the Americas, and most importantly, we also talked about combating corruption in Latin America, which we feel is so important to a long-term future of prosperity in this region. In 2017, we chose Bogota as the site of our first international summit, where we talked about the role of the private sector in implementing the peace agreement. We talked about the Sustainable Development Goals, and again, continued our focus on combating corruption. As we entered 2018, we needed to determine how can Concordia, as a fiercely nonpartisan organization, operate in a country during an election year. So we partnered with FENALCO, as well as the Instituto de Ciencia Política, in hosting a series of roundtables all around the country, talking about healthcare, education, unemployment, trade, taxes, and a number of issues that inspired the themes of a presidential debate that we hosted. I want to take a minute to acknowledge Adriana Mejia from the Instituto de Ciencia Política and Guillermo Botero FENALCO. We could not do this without you today. Thank you very, very much. It was following that presidential debate that we decided now to be here, to be the first major international forum following a presidential election and before an inauguration. So before we welcome the President-elect of the Republic of Colombia onto this stage, a final thank you as well to Maria Paula Correa, who created this entire initiative. We're very, very grateful for everything she's done for this organization.
Thank you, Maria.
And finally, as an important point, we actually would also not be here if it were not for Ivan Duque. He was the person who introduced me and Nick to President Uribe, who invited us to come to Colombia and see your country, which we immediately fell in love with. He also introduced us to Maria Paula. He has been an incredible friend to this organization. He has helped us from the very, very beginning, from the days that he was at the Inter-American Development Bank. And we are so honored to have a man who, as the youngest person ever elected president, a man who won more votes than anybody has, a man who has espoused important ideals about how to elevate the private sector, build a middle class, improve education, address important trade issues, and elevate Colombia's role in the world. We are incredibly honored to welcome to this stage President-elect Ivan Duque.